What's up guys, this is Wences. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the relationship between the INFJ personality type and the ESFJ personality type. My mom is an ESFJ. I have a lot of experience in that area. I have a very close relationship with her. It changed a lot over time while I was developing, and there were like a lot of roadblocks we were able to fix. And yeah, I want to share that with you and give you some insights. I have a video on the specifics like functions explained and all of that when it comes to ESFJ and INFJ that I did 3 years ago. So if you want to see the basics, watch that. But I'm still going to go a little bit into it because people have been writing me that they would like to have a little bit more explanation. So this is what we're doing. So the ESFJ personality type starts with extroverted feeling, then introverted sensing, then extroverted intuition, and then introverted thinking. And the INFJ is, if you're an INFJ watching this, but I'll say it again, it's introverted intuition, extroverted feeling, introverted thinking, and then extroverted sensing. So that's just the basics. But the main thing that I would say we connect on is extroverted feeling. It's strong for both of us, and it really has a lot of an effect on me, or it always had been. See, in the beginning, I've told you this also in other videos, I was not developed, and most people are not in their younger age, and that's when we really get into those dominant territory loops. So if you're an extrovert, you just stay completely in the extroverted side. If you're an introvert, you stay completely in the introverted side, and that brings problems, and you kind of avoid the second function. So the second function for INFJs is extroverted feeling. And extroverted feeling, I talked about it in another video, is that, extroverted feeling as a creative function pretty much says you create an emotional atmosphere and you pretty much make space. So if you don't have that, then everything happening around you, especially FE stuff happening around you, other people doing that will have an effect on you. And the ones that have the biggest impact on me, they used to have, is ESFJs and ENFJs. Because that's just who they are. Naturally, when they're in their normal state, there's just an emotional energy coming off of, ESFJs in that way, and you cannot resist it. If you do not use your creative function, you'll always be aware of what the ESFJ in your life is feeling or what they want other people to feel, like the emotional atmosphere they create. The emotional atmosphere we create is always an image of how we feel inside or how we want other people to feel and so on. But you're definitely, as an INFJ, aware of what the ESFJ feels. So my mom, when we were younger, wasn't happy, had her whole thing going on. And I felt, even as a teenager, that I'm responsible for making her happy. Because if you look at it from a very intrinsic point of view, so like what I want to do very selfishly, I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to suffer. And I feel if I have an ESFJ in front of me and then I have maybe an ENTP in front of me, if the ESFJ and the ENTP suffer the same way, I'll be much more aware of that the ESFJ is feeling that, because their natural state and it's so strong to express that through FE. You're gonna feel that as much as they would like to hide it, and they can probably hide it in relationships that are not that close to them. So people would have always said, yeah, my mom is so full of energy and so lighthearted and stuff. The closer you get to ESFJs, you'll know that you will have an effect, you will feel what they're feeling. And that caused me to be more of, okay, what can I do in order to have a life that would help her feel better? It's not her fault. It's not like my mom told me, I want you to save me, or I want you to help me. I was just so aware of it. I was always focused on that. That's just how INFJs are if they're not in a developed state where they have created FE for themselves. The moment I realized, well, I have to cut cords, I cannot be worried about how she feels, because if I do that, I get dragged into her world. And once you're down here and you're being dragged down, then you cannot help that person up. It just won't work. You don't have the energy for it. So I needed to cut cords. That also works with stuff that is like, let's say you have an ESFJ in your life who's very positive, who wants to help you. Like you can have that impact of that person on you and it lifts you up, like they lift you up. But at some point you have to realize they lift me up to a certain degree, but I still have to find my own path. I have to be more aware of what I want instead of what the ESFJ wants in my life. And it's not that the ESFJ says, well, I have a plan for you and this is what you should be doing. It's just their way of feeling, of thinking is just so obvious to us and I'm repeating this, if we don't put out FE. So the moment I said I want to cut cord, it was me saying, well, I'm going to express how I want to be treated and how I want to be perceived and what things I don't want to hear about, I don't want to think about. Like it was just, before that I was kind of like playing a part in her movie, and then I said, well, this is who I am. I believe that I'm going my path and I'm doing it this way, and I don't need that negativity, so to say. It's not like I said it like outright like that, but I made sure to say, like, no, actually I did. I said, like, I need, when you're around me, to like not complain. Like, I can't take it. I'm not strong enough. I want this, I need this, and if you want to be in my life, this is what happens. And we're talking about my mom here, so obviously, there was not going to be a way that we're going to have like we're not going to be close together, but there were times where it was just necessary for me to like keep that away because I couldn't handle it. And I was aware enough that I need to put those blocks in there. And that changed so much because the moment I started doing this, the moment I said, well, I actually have rules about who I want to be and things I'm not going to get affected by. So let's say you have an ESFJ who's all about making money, just as a question. And that's the only thing that matters to them. And that's the energy they exude. And you're, on the other hand, you have different aspirations. You're at that moment where you feel, I want to express my intuition, I want to feel about these things, like all of those things. The way, if you don't express who you are through FE and say, well, listen, I'm that person who's just, full of that intuitive feeling, like that intuitive and that feeling thing. And that's just like a way of state of being how you present yourself. If you don't have that, that other person doesn't know that those are their boundaries. They don't know, like the ESFJ does not know that this is who you are. And if they don't know who you are, then they're gonna overwhelm you with their emotions. It's just a natural state. That's like who they are. It's on you to say like this far and not further. And as I said, that can be if an ESFJ is being positive or negative, it doesn't matter. The emotions are just strong and they're gonna overwhelm you if you do not work on your FE, on creating your FE and putting up boundaries like that. That's just my task as an INFJ. This is just what I need to do in order to have a positive relationship with that person, in order not to get overwhelmed by the ESFJ's, extroverted feeling. Like it's similar with the ENFJ, but with ESFJs, it's just the same, right? So this is just like from a feeling standpoint, how everything changed. And the moment, as I said, the more I did that, the more actually like our relationship changed to the positive, because we became like really two people who help each other and not so much of this like intertwined and I'm so dependent on her well-being. And the thing is this, the more independent I am, the more I can actually help her, because then I'm in my own state. And then maybe the cord that we have to each other or the connection isn't as big as it used to be before, but it's still big enough to pull her up or to like help each other. And also she pulls me up too. It's not like just this one road kind of thing, but it helps us to kind of like give each other enough information that will pull us up, instead of having this like really close bond where we're both not really helping each other. If you're having a smaller bond and one of you is in a great position, you can lift each other up much more, because there's just a connection and you connect through FE, and then you get to like a similar state, at least for that, for that time being, that you can share your thoughts or whatever. So the most important thing in that aspect, please be independent. You're not responsible as an INFJ for the ESFJ to feel good. You're not. And the only reason why you're doing this, you might feel like, oh, this is like the goodness of my heart and I just want people to be happy. Realize, if an ENTP would be feeling the same way, you wouldn't be doing it, because you're not aware that the ENTP is doing it. Like, you're not aware that the ENTP is feeling this. That's because they really express what they feel, who they are, and you are aware of it. So like, don't think like I have to be the kind person. You're doing nice things. The kind thing would be to focus on you, to say, I'm gonna express my extroverted feeling, as in I'm gonna make it known who I am, what I stand for, and create a little distance there. And that's a healthy distance. That's just not being, leached onto each other. There's nothing bad about it. So when it comes to introverted thinking, you can tell, like, this is of course how we connect also. And I can be much more independent in that than like an ESFJ could, because there's just so much more, like the impact of everyone around you. So what society feels, all the emotional states around you, they make you not be so aware of your TI. That's just like a given. There's nothing you can do about it. And this doesn't mean, oh, the INFJ is smarter than the ESFJ. Not at all. I'm talking about if you just compare two people at the same level about everything, there's more, let's say, a cloud over the ESFJ TI. It's all about that. They would feel better if they would go more into introverted mode, take more time for them, go into SI, meaning like really making sure that they're comfortable, wellness, like making sure that their body is healthy and feel like secure in that area. And then their thinking would in general be like much better, because they have less contact to the outside world. There's a distance to the outside world, and they can think more clearly than they could if they're like all into the other world. Like for me, I also have limits to my TI, definitely. Like I know I cannot, if I have, for example, an ESFJ around me, and then I do not put my FE out, I do not create it, so I'm all in my introverted mode, my TI will not make it. It will just get overruled. Like the emotions of the other person will just overwhelm me so much that I will not be able to have my own thoughts in it. Like at some point, I'm just gonna get like taken by this wave of emotions, and I cannot handle it. Like my TI is not strong enough for that. Like I've learned that. So that's those two areas, like the FE and TI thing that we both have in common. I personally, when I want to talk to ESFJs about my NI, not a real connection there. Like that's the one function for the ESFJs that they ignore, NI in general. So it's just not working. Like I cannot sit down with my mom and talk to her about like some introverted intuitive concepts and how things actually work. Like she's even interested in, helping me in what I do, but you can just tell that's just not her realm of thinking. That's like equivalent to me, like what I think about extroverted thinking. I don't care. I don't know. I'm just oblivious to everything that goes on in that direction. And I need help with that. And so with my mom, it kind of like helps me. I help her with that because like right now she's like more into like understanding who she is, what she wants, getting like out of that loop, and introvert intuition really helps you with that. So now she can, like, when it comes to this, like really, talk to me, and I help her and I guide her through that, because that's like something that they're just too oblivious to NI in general to really look into this. And that's, as I said, this doesn't have to be a bad thing at all, because you can have ESFJs who are so aware of who they are and what they want to be that they can like keep on building and create like amazing things in their life, and they're not going to be so taken back by NI overthinking everything, right? So it's there's no judgment in it. It's not like the one thing is better than the other. That's just like my experience in those two cases. And that's it on NI. Let me think. The NE thing, it's better. Like I always push my mom to kind of like also do some things that are different, that are more outside of the box. Like most of the time when we go on vacation, it's always the same place she wants to go. So it's not like this typical FE thing. You can tell it by her being like around a lot of different people. But when it comes to creating stuff for herself and trying out new things, I wouldn't say that they're more likely to go into their NE than going into their SI. It's more of what I know is what is good, and that's what I'm gonna keep on doing. But every time I manage to like push her a little bit more into NE, that's another thing she likes, and then like sticks to that as well. So that's just as a sidetrack. So I think like for ESFJs, it's important to have somebody with NE in their stack anyways, because it just gets them out and widens their horizon and gets them out of ruts. What I like a lot about ESFJs is the SI. Like, I cannot lie about this. I personally, SI is not that strong for me, but it's not something I ignore. But that's probably the reason why I've never been the homemaker type, because I always had my mom do it for me, and I to this day I enjoy it so much. So when my mom picks me up, she makes me like a sandwich, and she takes care of me. She makes sure, like with my brother, with me, that was just her way of making us feel at home is just amazing. And like the whole memories, like making memories and having like this like feeling of you're taken care of in those SI matters, that you physically like internally feel good. You're not going to be cold around her. You're not going to be hungry around her. She's going to take care of you. And this I've seen with a lot of ESFJs, and it's something that is very, very nice and I appreciate so much in my life. And I didn't value it when I was younger. I didn't understand what was going on. And I can tell, like with my INTJ brother, he's not so much aware of it. You become aware of it when it's lacking in your life. SI is something you realize when you don't have it. I'm never cold. I never have to worry about these things. I'm never like, not taken care of in that direction. And the moment, and you're just gonna be thankful about it once it's gone. So that is just something ESFJs have to like keep in mind, that you have to make people aware, make them aware in some kind of way that you're doing this for them. If this is the only thing they know, they cannot appreciate it. Maybe like to a point to say, well, let me take care a little bit more about myself and, do SI for me and not so much for other people. And when I do SI, they're really aware of what I'm doing for them. So there is, like just really, an energy that they get back, and, people appreciating it and so on. And so I talked about NI, SI, SE, not really a thing. My mom actually is somebody who's very competitive, who wants to succeed. So SE is there. You know how it is with, if you're into socionics a little bit, you know that if your second function is SI, you also have a very strong SE in you. So there is a force behind her. You can tell that. And we can connect a lot on, having ambition, on wanting goals. And that's a really, really nice thing that I can share with her. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much it. Those are the things how I experienced ESFJ and INFJ relationships. It's very, like every relationship, like this is how I changed. Like maybe with ENTJs, it's like I just don't have ENTJs really in my life. But in general, like with every personality type, there is a positive thing out of it. Otherwise, I don't have these relationships. And it's not even that thing that you say, oh, all ESFJs are like that, or all ENTJs are like that. But I believe really, if the more you grow, the more you're aware of who you are and what you want to be, the better your relationships are with each personality type. You just approach them differently. There's less projection. And those are just the things I love about ESFJs. So yeah, that's it. As I said, most importantly, make sure that you create your own world so you don't get overwhelmed by their emotions, positive or negative. So that's how you can help them. And then, that even helps them to push them more into, okay, I'm gonna like look into what I think, like take care of myself, have the ideas and go for it. And so it can be like a great relationship, and I'm really, really glad I have my mom at my side. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I wish you a great day, guys. Let me know in the comments what kind of experiences you've had with this relationship, and then I just talk to you next time. Bye.